Mohit, you are known for your music. All your films, musics stay with us till today. I'm a millennial and those music are kind of music. So whenever we say Mohit Suri film aa raha hai, we know the music will be good, right? It's a given. So you really work hard. But is this always like how you create your music? You need everything in place, the mood, the lighting, even when the person is in the studio and just singing. And also, how did you select your musicians that this person's voice is perfect for this song?
That's what I think, the amount you give to a song, that's how long it will last, I think. Everyone does the programming, everyone writes the words, everyone makes the thing. But the thing is how much you give, how much of heart you give to the lyrics or to the music or to the melody or to the singing. That's how long the song will last, is what I genuinely feel. If you don't give that love, you're not going to get it back. It's just a simple debit and credit procedure, I think, with the audience. I genuinely feel I don't have any special skill. I don't know any scale or anything else. It's just that I enjoy that process a lot. Give me an evening to just go for a film party or something, I'll skip it. But you give me like a struggling musician to go who has a great tune, some new guys, chill all night with them. I can do that. I can just sit there, make music and stuff like that. We just did that recently. Fahim came down. He just surprised us, and we met in my Bandra office, and Han was there, Anit was there, and he made me hear his other songs and stuff like that. But it was it's so much fun, because I just think making music, film you still get to see something. Yeah. I think music is so amazing. You
don't need to see anything.
It's in the air, and suddenly it just comes together, and it's just, you can just feel it. And something you hear makes you feel something. It's just magical.
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India. It matters to India. And it matters to me. And it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7. Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV, Tariff, and Zenora. Master global ESG frameworks, gain real-world tools, and lead with impact. Starts August the 23rd. Enroll now and power your business with sustainability.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Hello and welcome to Nationwide at 6. I'm Gauri Dwivedi. The big story this evening on the show is the nature's fury in Dharali village in Uttarkashi district of Uttarakhand. It has been struck by a devastating cloudburst. Rescue operations are underway, and we'll tell you what could have been the possible reasons and, more importantly, where the rescue operations stand right now. The second story on the show that we'll be focusing on, the repeated paroles and furloughs that keep coming to rape convict Gurmeet Ram Rahim. Is this a prison sentence, or is he really out for picnic at taxpayers' money? We tell you more. But first up, the headlines of the show. Cloudburst in Uttarkashi. Villages have been swept away. Over 50 people are missing. Rescue teams are at spot. Prime Minister Modi sends his condolences. Home Minister Amit Shah has spoken to Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami over rescue operations. Massive ruckus over Parliament security change. Leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, Kharge, had raised the issue of CISF being used in the House to muddle the voice of opposition. The government has hit back with Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju saying that only marshals are operating in the House. Prime Minister Modi slams opposition at the NDA meeting, where he says that the opposition parties were thrashed during the Operation Sindoor debate that took place in Parliament, but were insistent on self-harm. Congress protests in Jaipur demanding restoration of student union elections in Rajasthan turns into a battleground, with Congress leader Sachin Pilot being carried away by marshals. Goon Sena strikes yet again. MNS workers slap a bank employee who was thrashed and his face was blackened. Enforcement Directorate confronts Anil Ambani with 10-point questionnaire. Enforcement Directorate grills Anil Ambani for its ongoing probe into the 17,000 crore rupee alleged money laundering case involving multiple Reliance Group companies. Charge against the former business tycoon is that the money sanctioned for companies was siphoned off into shell companies. Viewers, yet another cloudburst has happened in Uttarakhand, this time in Uttarkashi, which has been hit by relentless rainfall leading to flash floods. A cloudburst in Uttarkashi's Dharali has triggered flash floods in this high altitude villages in this area. As per the district magistrate, the DM, Prashant Arya, he said that at least 4 people have been killed so far, but this number unfortunately may rise, because that's what we have right now, given the fact that there are 50 people who are still missing. Rescue operations are currently underway. Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah have taken note of the situation, and 3 ITBP teams have been sent. 4 NDRF teams have also been dispatched for rescue operations. Emergency helplines have also been issued, and we're going to put that out for our viewers here as well. Let's flash those emergency helplines as well. That will help anybody who needs to ensure that help reaches out to them. But first, let's take you through the latest visuals that are coming in right now for you to better understand the fury of nature, which actually led to the devastating flash floods that took place. This is the first big video that we're putting out, where you can see houses and houses have actually been swept away, with the fury that you can see as far as those flash floods are concerned. In seconds, you can see that entire area has actually been swept away with those flash floods coming there. There you can see very scary visuals that tell you how houses, cars are all gone in just a matter of seconds. Let's tell you the second video, another video that tells you what really took place at Uttarkashi today, where flood has actually left behind a trail of slush. This is actually something that is very risky, very dangerous, because this is when it's impossible for anybody to be at a particular place. It is actually extremely unstable for anybody to be there, which is why there could be villages and many villagers fear to be buried under this slush, under this mud. The third video, let's tell you about the trail of destruction that's been left behind by this flash flood. This is the third one that tells you the extent of devastation. There you can see what all has really happened in terms of the impact of the flash flood. This is probably the most impactful for you to be able to better understand. See, the cars are under water, under slush, telling you what all really happened there in just a matter of minutes. Let's tell you the next video, which once again shows what really happened. This is the flash flood that's actually been caught on camera. The horror there you can see in a matter of seconds. You see those houses actually falling like a pack of cards. Tells you in fact, the audio viewers also has people who are screaming to ensure that they manage to find some sort of a safety mechanism to be able to survive this flash flood. The horror caught on camera, viewers, for you to understand what really is happening, where people are running for their lives. Last video that we are telling viewers here is where you can see that man who's actually been stuck in the slush. As I was telling you earlier, it's extremely cannot walk, you cannot stand still, and that holds true for people, houses, cars, everything. He's trying to run, but you will see this is what happens after a flash flood. This is what happens when slush comes in, making escape also that much more difficult. This tells you, viewers, what really happened in a matter of seconds, in a matter of minutes, as far as Uttarkashi is concerned. It still isn't over, and we're going to tell you what's the latest there. But I'm going to first play out what Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami said when he spoke to my colleague in NDTV India. Listen in.
बहुत तेज गति से आया है, घरों में भी गया है, कुछ घर भी चपेट में आए हैं, आसपास कुछ गेस्ट हाउस और होटल हैं, उन सभी को उसमें मलबे में उसमें आए हैं। और अभी सबसे पहले हमारी सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है कि सभी को तत्काल बचाव किया जाए, राहत के कार्य किए जाए, जरूरी जो भी सहायता है वो सहायता लोगों तक पहुँचाई जाए। उसके लिए सेना के लोग और आपदा प्रबंधन विभाग और NDRF, SDRF सभी काम कर रहे हैं। आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने भी लगातार हर संभव सहायता के लिए वहाँ पर ITBP की कंपनियां और कंपनियों को भेजा है और उन्होंने कहा है कि हर संभव यहाँ से भी सहायता की जाएगी। तो हम सबका प्रयास सभी लोग लगे हैं, जिला प्रशासन के लोग भी बचाव के काम के लिए है। थोड़ा सा कठिन स्थान है वो, क्योंकि वहाँ पर बारिश भी हो रही है और इस समय वहाँ थोड़ा कोहरा भी लगा हुआ है।
धामी जी, आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी कि क्या आप भी वहां जाएंगे जहां ये त्रासदी हुई है, और कब तक पहुंचेंगे अगर जा रहे हैं तो?
अभी वहां पर जी बिल्कुल, मैं भी यहाँ आपदा प्रबंधन से सारे जो भी हमारे कंट्रोल रूम है वहाँ पे सारा हम लोग मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं। जैसी जैसी आवश्यकता होगी उस हिसाब से हम सब लोग वहाँ पहुँचेंगे। और चूंकि अभी सभी लोग बचाव के काम में लगे हैं, इसलिए सबकी प्राथमिकता है कि इस समय बचाव के कामों को आगे बढ़ाया जाए।
धामी जी, घायलों की और बाकी वहां पर मृतकों की संख्या की कोई पुष्टि हो पाई है?
देखिए, अभी आकलन नहीं हो पाया है। अभी तो यह है कि तत्काल लोगों को जिनको बचाया जा सकता है, जिनको राहत दी जा सकती है, सर्वोच्च सहायता की जा सकती है, उसमें लगे हैं। सबकी सुरक्षा, सबको बचाना हमारी प्राथमिकता है।
Okay, that was Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami telling very clearly the focus is on rescue operations to ensure that those who are missing right now, the number is actually 50, maybe 60, those people are evacuated at the very earliest. I want to play out some sound bites, some reactions coming in, or the latest as far as where rescue operations are right now. Then we come back and talk more on this.
देखिए, चूंकि सड़क का भी संपर्क मार्ग बाधित हो गया है और पुलिया भी वहां से बह गई है, तो उसके लिए हम लोग अभी BRO से भी और ENC इंजीनियर इन चीफ हमारे PWD के हमारे साथ हैं। हमारा सबसे पहला जो प्रयास है कि किस तरह से कनेक्टिविटी स्थापित की जाए। मौसम भी अभी ऐसी स्थिति नहीं है जिससे कि हम लोग हेली सर्विसेज को वहां के माध्यम से वहां पे राहत और रेस्क्यू कर सके। लेकिन जहां तक SDRF और NDRF का है, उसमें हम यहां से ऑलरेडी SDRF की टीम वहां पहुंची हुई है। साथ ही वहाँ आर्मी का भी इस्टेब्लिशमेंट है। आर्मी के इस्टेब्लिशमेंट के माध्यम से गांव वालों से अभी वहाँ हमने गांव वालों से भी एक दो लोगों से बात करने की कोशिश की है। बड़ी बात है कि
जैसे सूचना मिली है, तत्काल जो हमारी सबसे नज़दीक की SDRF की टीम थी मौके पर रवाना हो गई है, पहुँच गई है। जो SUC है उसके सुपरविजन में सभी एजेंसीज मिलकर काम कर रही हैं। जो आसपास की यूनिट्स हैं जो रेस्क्यू वर्क में हेल्प कर सकती हैं, आर्मी की यूनिट है, NDRF है, ITBP है, सभी की टीम्स मौके पर पहुँच रही हैं और एक कोऑर्डिनेटेड तरीके से रेस्क्यू का काम किया जा रहा है। हम लोग की बाकी की 2 टीम्स जो हैं वो भी पहुंचने वाली हैं। इसके अलावा बटालियन से भी हम लोग एक टीम रवाना कर रहे हैं, जिसमें कि स्पेशलाइज्ड इक्विपमेंट जो कि डिजास्टर में हमको हेल्प कर सकते हैं, उनको हम लोग इस्तेमाल करेंगे। वो एक जियो के सुपरविजन में वो भी हम लोग रवाना कर रहे हैं।
अभी ताज़ा जानकारी के मुताबिक प्रॉपर्टीज़ का तो काफ़ी डैमेज हुआ ही है और अभी कैजुअलिटीज़ के बारे में कुछ बता पाना अभी संभव नहीं है। मौके पर हमारी आर्मी की टीम जो हर्षिल में रहती है वो पहुंच गई है। साथ ही साथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट SSP भी पहुंचने वाले हैं। NDRF, SDRF और ये भी टीम वहां पर मूव की जा चुकी है। पहली प्राथमिकता तो लोगों का रेस्क्यू करना है। इसके लिए हेल्थ विभाग की पूरी टीम, साथ ही साथ फूड डिपार्टमेंट, इन सभी को एक्टिवेट किया गया है।
All right, viewers, those were the latest set of updates that were coming in as far as where things stand. with regard to the tragedy that has happened in Uttarkashi. This is in the Dharali district of Uttarkashi, where these visuals tell you what really happened in a matter of seconds. We've been telling that to you in terms of how people, lives, property, everything has been impacted and is at stake. Because what we know so far, the information that we are working with right now is that 4 people have lost their life in this flash flood fury. And as of now, 50 people are missing. Rescue operations are underway. We are waiting for more information. But these visuals tell you just how scary those minutes were when villagers were trying to escape from this flash flood that was triggered by the cloudburst. Let's quickly now put out the big questions that we are asking, that NDTV is asking as far as this tragedy is concerned. First and foremost, did the cloudburst sensors function today? Since 2013, viewers, when the first and the other devastating flood hit Uttarakhand, this has been something that has been asked again and again. And in fact, an elaborate mechanism was installed after the 2013 tragedy. Did it work today? That's the first question that we are asking. Let's move ahead and tell you the other one. Why didn't the forewarning system alert Dharali village in time? Again, something. There have been repeated floods that have taken place in Uttarakhand. After 2013, there were devastating ones that followed in 2021 as well. And again, it was assumed, and in fact, an elaborate system was put in place only last year in 2024. That forewarning system, what happened? The third key question that we are asking, let's put that out. The third question is, what data did sensors capture before Uttarkashi cloudburst? It's about the data that really tells you whether you need to be forewarned or not. Is that data mechanism, capturing mechanism, faulty? Does it need to be revisited? Or was it working properly and did not alert in time? That's the key question. Next up, let's put out the fourth question, which is that are installed sensors actually operational and maintained? Very basic question, but one needs to ask, given the fact that at the end of the day, it is the last mile that needs to be figured out, which is you've got an elaborate system in place, but is it actually working? Is it being maintained? Is it actually operational? That's a key question. And the last one that we're putting out is, beyond the sensors, which, as I said, has been in place, elaborate mechanism in the last couple of years, was Dharali on flash flood alert or not? There was a cloudburst that happened. After that, was an alert put out in time or not? Because lives are at stake and these questions need to be answered. In fact, let's get in our guest joining us this evening on Nationwide at 6. First up, Anup Nautiyal. He's a social activist joining us from Dehradun. In fact, he's focused on issues related to environment and sustainable development. And he will be best positioned to answer some of these questions, which is how much of this can be predicted, if not to eliminate, but minimize the impact. Mr. Baig, he's an Indian meteorologist. He joins us as well on the broadcast, along with Mr. Raghu, who is an Earth Systems scientist and a visiting professor of sustainability at IIT Kanpur. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me this evening. Let me first start by asking all three of you the first and fundamental question that I'm sure everybody watching this broadcast would be asking. We've got elaborate systems in place. How much of this could have actually been forewarned for us to, if not eliminate, at least minimize and prepare for the kind of impact that happened because of this? Mr. Nautiyal, let me start with you.
My deepest heartfelt condolences with the people of our state, particularly of the Dharali region. And as we speak, I think you also showed visuals of another place called Sukhi Top. So just to set the context right, we have 13 districts in Uttarakhand, and whatever is happening today is happening in the ecologically, geologically, environmentally vulnerable district of Uttarkashi in the Garhwal Himalayas. So this Dharali is, when you go from Uttarkashi, which is the district, so Uttarkashi is also the district and the name of the district headquarters, and from Uttarkashi you go to Gangotri, about 100 odd kilometers. Dharali lies 80 km from Uttarkashi. Now, you showed and asked many questions about sensors. At least I am not aware if any sensors or any early warning systems have prevented any disaster from happening in Uttarakhand. So as you rightly mentioned, even from 2013, from the time of Kedarnath, there has been a lot of talk about these EWS systems and all of that. But the frightening frequency with which we are witnessing all these landslides, all these disasters. And I want to repeat myself, consciously aware that I am saying the same thing again, that at least I am not aware of any EWS early warning system or any such siren kind of system which has prevented landslides from happening. So that this is my first comment, and I'll pass it back to you.
Right. And Mr. Nautiyal, I'm going to come back and ask you that the frequency, the frightening frequency with which flash floods are actually occurring in Uttarakhand. I'm going to come back and ask you the causes and, more importantly, what can be done. But before that, let me get in Mr. Baig for his initial comments in terms of how things are unfolding right now. We'll keep updating you about the rescue operations, viewers, but it's important to understand why this happened, how it can be prevented, and more importantly, the elaborate systems that we keep hearing about. Unfortunately, when it's such a tragedy like this that happens, you suddenly realize nothing seems to be working. Mr. Baig.
Yes, very tragic and unfortunate event. Let me clarify that this is more like a cloudburst kind of event. But to my understanding, it is not a cloudburst. The cloudburst definition is that within 1 hour or less than 1 hour, 100 mm rain within an area of 10 to 20 kilometers. But what is really causing? There are two things which has caused this particular. Firstly, that there is a rain. Very fast rain, less rain. IMD has predicted that rain is going to be continued up to the 10th of August. So that was perfectly okay from that point of view. But then what has happened is, it is a natural plus man-made disaster, both when they combine together. But let us come to very short thing is that first thing why it has happened, this particular thing, it is a continuous rain which is happening in area as well as surrounding areas. Now there is a river, which is a Kheergarh river, which has suddenly got overflown because the water came from all the places. And the main stream, natural stream, which was coming to that particular area, that got merged with the surging of the water from the nearby hills. So all those got combined, and then here the Kheer river got overflowed suddenly. All this stream could not be taken by the muddy mountains, and that is what is something which has gone into this particular thing. I will come to that later, why this has happened, but let us go to that.
We'll come to that. But Mr. Raghudan, let me start with you in terms of the causes that could have been the reason. We've understood the fact that the system isn't working perfectly, but let's now come to why is it that it's happening with the frightening frequency with which one is seeing this in Uttarakhand.
Yeah, the first thing is IMD did forecast heavy rain in the region. Secondly, there are global factors that matter. So the warming over the Middle East and the Mediterranean is very rapid over the last 10 to 15 years because of global warming. That's what dry regions do in response to global warming. Those have been pulling the winds northward over the Arabian Sea, which tends to pump moisture into the Himalayan foothills. So you have all the ingredients of mountains, mountain slopes that are being affected by these global factors, but we have local amplifiers because we are mishandling the land use, we are not being careful. But you have to remember, risk is never zero. So was it forecasted correctly? Not at the scale of Dharali, because that's not very easy to do, but that's where we are headed. So I wouldn't blanket blame saying this didn't work, that didn't work. NDMA has been doing better every year. Mortality has been going down, but each event teaches us something, so there will be a
bitter lessons, sir.
This event.
All I can say is there are bitter lessons that come at a very heavy price that need to be paid. Mr. Nautiyal, you were talking about why is this happening? What do you think are the top 3 reasons?
See, I don't think we can really have a bullet point list and say 1, 2, 3 like that. Of course, as Mr. Raghu rightly said, and I totally agree with him that, change in land use patterns and also the massive amount of deforestation, particularly that we have seen amongst, if I were to talk about all the Himalayan states across the entire country, Uttarakhand has borne the brunt of the largest amount of hectares of forests and jungles being diverted for development activity. So it's really difficult to pinpoint and say where exactly does the blame lie. Now, also when we talk about deforestation, of course, the forest department and the government will turn back and say that we are also doing compensatory afforestation, but we'll leave it for some other day. To answer your question, I see this principally as 3 crises And of course, everything is blanketed by climate change, because climate change has become a bogey now for our policymakers and for our governments. And when I say government, I will also pinpoint the Union of India, the government of India. The government of India, and particularly the Prime Minister and the Home Minister, also need to move beyond simply offering condolences and speaking to the Chief Minister of our state.
Okay.
And, I also, at one level, I empathize, with all authorities, with officials.
Right.
Because, of course, the first priority is to provide relief and rescue. But at the same time, and I'm truly dejected, I'm disappointed, I'm really hurt that, we are not questioning, we are objectively not looking at what is happening at this landscape. And we can't look at Himachal Pradesh as one state, Uttarakhand is another state. So we have this crisis.
There is the Himalayan belt, and efforts need to be made to study the entire region.
We have the crisis
from
of
all aspects. Yes,
we have the crisis of development. This all development is one huge crisis itself. Then we have the crisis of climate, and of course we have the crisis of apathy. So the entire cocktail of the way things are happening, particularly in Uttarakhand, I think there is lots to course correct. It is not enough, to simply offer condolences. And if you go back to, if I were to just
nobody's just offering condolences, but the fact is effort is also being made to focus on the immediate, which is the rescue. And relief are the primary focus right now.
That's what I said, though. I empathize and relate to the relief and rescue. There is lots more that needs to be done.
Of course, there is no debating that. You and I and everybody watching this broadcast are in complete agreement. I hope that more needs to be done. It is just, how do you identify what should be the roadmap to ensure that what is happening, and we're putting out some of those visuals, the frequency with which this is happening doesn't happen. Lives are at stake, livelihoods, property, everything is at stake. And most importantly, the frequency with which these flash floods are coming actually jeopardize the entire region, put it at peril. I'm afraid I have to leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of Nationwide at 6. Viewers, I'm now turning attention to more breaking news that's coming in on the broadcast. Shifting focus now to Donald Trump's fresh tariff tirade, where he's put out a message. In fact, he said that there's a 24-hour deadline he has given in terms of doubling down the tariff as far as India is concerned. It's a 24-hour deadline that Donald Trump has set for India, and he said that there'll be substantial tariffs in the next 24 hours. He said that India is fueling the Russia war, and has gone on to say, and in fact has repeated the tariff threat he's been saying in the last couple of days. Now India, in fact, he's also said that India has not been a good trading partner. India is buying Russian oil, which is fueling the war machine. Now viewers, if you're joining me right now on the broadcast, Donald Trump has said that he's going to double down as far as the tariff threat to India is concerned. The reasons for that are very simple. It has nothing to do with India. It has everything to do with Donald Trump's increasing frustration with regard to ending the war in Russia and Ukraine, which is where it comes down to. He's frustrated with the fact that Vladimir Putin has rejected all ceasefire options. He's frustrated with the fact that he claimed he's going to end a war in 24 hours. Well, it's the longest 24 hours in the history, isn't it, viewers? Because he's still not been able to end the Russia-Ukraine war. So what is he doing? He's now doubling down by coming up with another alternate strategy. He first started arming Ukraine with Patriot missiles. He then said that he's going to come down heavily as far as Russia is concerned, gave Vladimir Putin a 10-day deadline to end it. He also, in fact, moved several of those missiles of NATO, and now he's coming out with a fresh threat as far as India is concerned with regard to more tariffs. Let's get in Mohammad Ghazali, my colleague, joining us for more on this. Now, Ghazali, this is something that we've been tracking and telling our viewers that what is happening is pretty much the template as far as Trump administration is concerned. The frustration with regard to not solving the Russia-Ukraine issue or creating a ceasefire is the reason why he's coming out with this. But first, walk us through what is the fresh threat that Donald Trump has come out with regard to India and tariffs.
He's reiterating the same what we have been hearing for the last 72 hours, that India is the most tariffed nation, or which charges more tariff on United States goods and products. And perhaps that is why in a reciprocal tariff, India will be taxed 25% and more He spoke about the penalty earlier, saying that how India deals with Russia, is purchasing oil from Russia, and it's not bothered about the deaths in Ukraine. And surprisingly, this coming from US administration is more than ironical, because even the US administration himself, Mr. Trump, has been quoted saying that he wants to sell more weapons to Ukraine. We saw those deals happening in the last couple of months between Ukraine and NATO countries as well as United States. So from that point of view, more of it looks like perhaps Mr. Trump is very pissed or very sort of irritated that on one hand he's not been able to resolve the Russia-Ukraine conflict. On the other hand, he's now looking for a kind of a sacrificial lamb, which India happens to be one, or he is targeting India just because Indian Prime Minister also happens to be one of the rare leaders of the global South who managed to speak to both Zelensky and Mr. Putin to resolve this crisis. Mr. Trump, almost very interested in being nominated for Nobel Peace Prize, kept claiming that he has resolved many conflicts. India never sort of confirmed those claims that it was Mr. Trump who sort of got the ceasefire between India and Pakistan. Rather, India rejected those claims. Prime Minister on the floor of the House, the day in the Lok Sabha, he said that no foreign leader or hand was involved in resolving that crisis. On that particular day, Mr. Trump came out with his threatening tone and weaponizing tariff to say that India will be charged more. So we are expecting these comments to continue, though he has given a deadline that in the next 24 hours, perhaps he'll come up with more announcements regarding that.
Indeed, this was a phone interview that Donald Trump did with a media group in the US, and there he has spoken about several other things. Well, he's also discredited the jobs data of his country, and then he's gone on to talk about the fact that he will double the tariffs as far as India is concerned. Now, Ghazali, this comes even as India has very firmly kept its position, which is that as one of the world's second largest oil importer, it has all the freedom and discretion to decide where it goes ahead and purchases its energy requirements, fulfills its energy requirements. And that firm message that India has sent out to the world, to Donald Trump, is something that Mr. Trump isn't used to, is he?
Oh yes, and we have seen him, that how he keeps threatening these countries until they back down. We have seen it with Japan, we have seen it with EU. He kept threatening them with tariffs, and most of these global leaders sort of bowed down to Mr. Trump's tariff threat, agreed to his terms and conditions, unlike another global South leader, the Brazilian president. He has been very vocal about it. He also announced that he will not bow down to the terms and conditions what Mr. Trump was offering to Brazil. And very surprisingly, it has also come on the sidelines of how India has treaded very carefully with its diplomacy when it came to the Ukraine-Russia conflict. And it should be reminded, not just to Mr. Trump, but to our viewers as well, that in the past Biden administration, in the previous one of the top aides of Biden administration had openly said that we had requested India to purchase oil from Russia to stabilize the oil marketing in the global market, the oil pricing, so that it should not fluctuate. And it was going very well with the US administration just till last year when Mr. Biden was there. Many within the Biden administration had also spoken very openly that you don't set red lines for your partners. And India has clarified it very clearly that there are many countries within those who are criticizing India now for dealing with Russia, that they themselves are purchasing energy and other resources from Russia to run their economy, primarily US itself. So it has come as a huge surprise that why Mr. Trump has gone on record to reiterate his claim that he will continue to put more tariffs on India.
Right. For viewers tuning in right now, what has really happened is just 12 hours after Donald Trump, actually 24 hours, I beg your pardon, it happened yesterday night, India time, when Donald Trump came out with a fresh threat that he will increase tariffs as far as India's purchase of Russian oil is concerned. He has reiterated that in a telephone interview that he gave to a media network in the US. And essentially, the messaging is the same, which is that because India is what he feels funding the Russian war economy, it needs to be penalized by imposing fresh tariffs. But Ghazali, the fact is, this tariff template that Donald Trump keeps repeating is actually now having diminishing returns, isn't it? Because countries are now figuring out that this tariff threat is something that they are going to have a way to figure themselves out of. Because at the end of the day, India and US do have a very large trading bilateral trade, but India is not only trading with the US, and goods trade is about $40 billion because pharma is kept out of it, electronics is kept out of it. Tariffs have been imposed at 25%. There is an unspecified Russian oil levy, so to say, that has been imposed. How much more can Donald Trump actually come out with these threats? Have they now been factored in and budgeted in now in terms of negotiations?
See, it is very surprising that on one side, both the administrations are already sort of negotiating the bilateral trade agreement, and that has also been going on for many weeks. We had Mr. Piyush Goyal, Ms. Nirmala Sitharaman, two of our union ministers who had paid frequent visit to United States. It is also expected that this month we will be hosting one of a few officials from the Trump administration itself to negotiate on the BTA, and yet Mr. Trump continues on the other side to impose heavy tariff or announce heavy tariffs on India. Meanwhile, Russia and China, those two countries which are seen as hostile towards US, they both have hinted. Russia has come out with a statement, Kremlin saying that India has all the rights to choose its oil partners, its trading partners, and China, with whom US is already on the similar lines, they're negotiating trade agreement with China as well, while China happens to be the biggest buyers of Russian oil. But there is no such a statement from Mr. Trump to sort of influence China or its decisions or towards Russia, but all his ire and fury is for India for the reasons best known to him.
In fact, Russia also weighed into this when Kremlin made an important announcement when it said that Trump's tariff threats were attempts to force countries to stop trade relations with Russia. This was a statement that had come in from Kremlin when it had weighed in. But there's another important aspect that we must tell our viewers, Ghazali, that's coming in right now in terms of the interview that he gave to CNBC, where he said that planned tariffs on pharmaceuticals imported in the US could eventually reach up to 250%. Now, that's an important aspect, and we need to tell our viewers, because so far the negotiations, the tariffs have not included pharmaceuticals, have not included electronics. This adds yet another layer of uncertainty, doesn't it?
Pharmaceuticals as well as the agri products. That is also one sector on which India has had a very firm position that we won't allow the US to get into the agri sector in India. But besides that, Gauri, we know different domains and sectors on which the discussions are going on between India and US. But these out-of-bound statements coming from United States President certainly hampers the relations in the long term, as well as our trade negotiations which are going on for multiple weeks. And we'll have to see, because it is also seen as an empty rhetoric, because people in the South Bloc feel that perhaps it's also one of the ploys of Mr. Trump, the way he runs his diplomacy, which is more like a carrot and stick approach, that you threaten, then you ask the person to sit on a negotiating table. This is exactly what he's trying to do with India as well, by continuously and repeatedly threatening us with tariff and also blaming us for profiteering from the Ukraine-Russia war, while US does the same while selling its weapons to one of those countries which is involved in the conflict.
All right, we leave it there. Mohammad Ghazali, my colleague, joining us for more on that. On that note, we're going to slip into a very short break, viewers. We're going to come back on the other side of Nationwide at 6 and talk more about the latest as far as Anil Ambani is concerned. He's been grilled by the Enforcement Directorate since 11 in the morning. We come back and talk more on what could be the possible ways in which the probe is headed from here on. More on that after this break. Stay with us.
At a time when the Israeli Prime Minister is reported to be thinking of a full occupation of the Gaza Strip in what would be a massive escalation of the war.
Remember, 1,500.
We report from areas along the Strip. The kibbutz worst hit by terrorists during October 2023. A hell zone where 1 in 4 people, infants, the elderly, were butchered. Their killings beamed on Facebook. The crisis shows no signs of coming to an end. We bring you a reminder of the horror.
The big question, when will there be an end to the war? When will the hostages return? And as significantly, when will the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, the suffering of countless people over there, come to an end?
Tonight on Left, Right and Centre, 9:55 p.m. right here on NDTV 24/7.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
Cloudburst in Uttarkashi, villages have been swept away. Over 50 people are missing. Rescue teams at the spot. Prime Minister Modi sends condolences. Amit Shah speaks to Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami. Massive ruckus over Parliament security change. Mallikarjun Kharge had raised the issue of CISF being used in the House to muzzle the voice of opposition. Government hits back. Parliamentary Affairs Minister says only marshals are in the House. Prime Minister Modi slams opposition at the NDA meeting. Prime Minister Modi says opposition got thrashed in the Operation Sindhu debate but insisted on self-harm. Enforcement Directorate grills Anil Ambani for over 6 hours. Enforcement Directorate confronts Anil Ambani with 10-point questionnaire. ED grills Anil Ambani for its ongoing probe into the 17,000 crore alleged money laundering case.
That's huge. That is a biggie. It's out.
Gold Plus Clear Glass. पार हो या नियर, सब कुछ दिखे क्लियर.
हेलो बोलिए मैडम, डब्बा ट्रेडिंग कब से चल रहा है पता है मैडम आपको? हम और आप तो जन्म भी नहीं हुआ था हमारा.
We investigated a shady advisory firm that has spent big bucks on advertising on the front pages of national dailies.
ये आपको बिल्कुल उसका ऐसे हल्का सा भी खौफ नहीं है?
मैडम एक बात को खौफ किस लिए रखना चाहिए ये तो बताओ, कौन सा गलत काम कर रहा हूँ मैं?
After our report, we also saw NSE came out with a cautionary circular to the investors. Market Regulator, Securities and Exchange Board of India has also come out with a release talking about the actions that it has taken. Cyber complaint has also been filed against the entities involved in this entire dabba trading scam.
You know, first when Sayyara released and we as audience realized, oh my God, what is happening? You know, when did you realize it? Like, it's like, I didn't expect this, what is happening? Like that wave that hits you.
You know, the first thing that really hit me, I'm telling you, was a month back actually, to be honest, is when Adisa saw the film. And he saw a very loose cut and he decided the release date. But he was always, like me and Akshay were so into making the film, I think, along with Sumanna and all. Sometimes when you're so into it and you know, you don't realize, you don't see it from, and then he saw it from a third person perspective. I mean, he was always super confident.
Cloudburst in Uttarkashi, villages swept away. 50 people are missing. Rescue teams are at the spot. PM condoles. Home Minister Amit Shah speaks to Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami. Massive ruckus over Parliament security change. Mallikarjun Kharge had raised the issue of CISF being used in the House to muzzle the opposition. Government hits back. Parliamentary Affairs Minister says only marshals in the House, not CISF. Prime Minister Modi slams opposition at the NDA meeting, says opposition got thrashed during the Operation Sindhu debate, but insisted on causing self-harm. Congress protests in Jaipur demanding restoration of student union elections in Rajasthan turns into a battleground, with Congress leader Sachin Pilot being taken away.
Presented by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Breaking news coming in on the broadcast. Exclusive details that NDTV is getting first in terms of the grilling that is taking place of Anil Ambani by Enforcement Directorate. And this is source-based information that we are getting for you viewers, and I'm going to try and connect with my colleague who's breaking this story for us. Anil Ambani has given some answers and responses to the Enforcement Directorate, where he has said he's not aware of the transactions. Remember, there's a specific chain of money transactions that Enforcement Directorate is seeking answers from Anil Ambani. Let's quickly now get in Anushka for more on this. Anushka, walk us through what exactly is it that the ED has asked Anil Ambani and the responses that he is getting, that you are getting for us as far as source-based information is concerned. Go ahead, tell us more.
That's right, Gauri. We are seeing that it has been now more than 6 hours since Anil Ambani is in fact being questioned by the ED. So far, what we are getting to know by the ED sources is that he has said that he was not aware of the transactions that were made by the executives of his company. He has dodged a lot of questions, and that the ED is right now not satisfied with. ED is in fact planning to call Anil Ambani within the span of 7 to 8 days. What we are also getting to know is the right-hand man of Anil Ambani, who is Amitabh Jhunjhunwala. He's been summoned tomorrow. Not just that, ED has also written to 12 to 13 bank executives are seeking details of the sanctions of what was made by those banks to the Anil Ambani group companies. We are showing you the visuals. It's been almost 6 hours now of the questioning that was going on. There was a break around 1 o'clock, but now we are seeing that the questioning is right now also in fact going on as we speak. Within an hour or so, Anil Ambani will be leaving the ED premises, but the ED is planning to summon Anil Ambani once again after 6 to 7 days, because ED is not satisfied with the answers that Anil Ambani has provided. Every question that the ED asks regarding the loans, regarding the sanctions, regarding whether or not he was in fact aware that these sanctions were being made, the money were in fact being disbursed, the loan sanctions was in fact being made.
Anushka, the big headline is that Enforcement Directorate will now probe these transactions yet again by calling Anil Ambani in about a week's time. That's the big headline coming in. Enforcement Directorate will summon Anil Ambani again. It's not satisfied with the responses that it has got so far in terms of money trail is concerned. The specific transactions that Enforcement Directorate is probing, which is that if the money came in from banks, if it was sanctioned for specific projects in the Reliance Group companies, where did it go? Who siphoned it? Which were the shell companies where it went? And who benefited? Remember, I'm saying this clearly, which is that if ED probes a case, it needs to prove a money trail. It needs to show where the money came from and who was the ultimate beneficiary. That's how the money trail gets established. That's how siphoning gets established. Now, the big question, Anushka, is that it is dissatisfied with Anil Ambani's responses, and it's going to summon, the agency is going to summon the beleaguered business tycoon in about a week's time again.
That's right, Gauri. We are looking at the PMLA Act here, that is the Money Laundering Act, wherein the ED has to in fact look after the money trail that was in fact placed in this particular case, where money worth staggering amount of rupees 17,000 crore is right now being in question. The ED has asked multiple questions to Anil Ambani regarding whether or not he was aware that those transactions were being made. Three company of Anil Ambani had defaulted, that is the Reliance House Finance Limited, Reliance Commercial Finance Limited and Reliance Communications. Now Anil Ambani is in fact being asked the questions as to whether or not he had any idea that the executives were in fact doing all of that. Anil Ambani has so far said that he will be providing those answers within a week's time, because he is not aware of all those documents that he had signed. He has in fact said that it was those executives, the executives of his companies who were in fact telling him to sign those documents, and that's why he did it. He needs more time so that he can come here and answer the ED's question that the ED will be satisfied with. But we are learning that his right-hand man, Amitabh Jhunjhunwala, who has been summoned for tomorrow, and ED will once again summon Anil Ambani within a week's time. Over to you.
Amitabh Jhunjhunwala, or AJ as he was called in corporate circles, is summoned tomorrow. He was Anil Ambani's right-hand man. He will have some information on the financial transactions that ED is probing, along with Satish Seth, another very important person as far as Reliance companies are concerned, someone who was in the thick of things and will probably have answers to the questions that ED is asking. On that note, a quick break, viewers. We come back on the other side, talk more about more breaking news that's coming in and flashing at the bottom of your screens. Stay with us. We come back with those details.
Hello, Moto.
Moto G96 5G. All eyes on you.
तू ही तो है जिसकी सच्चाई वाली क्लैरिटी की वजह से मैं आज यहाँ हूँ।
गोल्ड प्लस सिल्वॉक्सी मिरर्स, ऐसी क्लैरिटी कि आपको सिर्फ सच नजर आए, चाहे कितने भी साल बीत जाएं।
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term?
Buy, sell or hold.
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live, ask, decide and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Vanakkam Tamil Nadu.
Well, the battle for Tamil Nadu 2026 is open now.
After Chief Minister Stalin rolls up his sleeves.
And Vijay steps in as a star challenger.
This is a mass gathering, not for cash. Meanwhile, a former Chief Minister, Edapadi Palanisamy, begins his fight back.
The big comeback campaign by EPS has well and truly begun.
These are all the ultimate players, and this is going to be the ultimate test.
And you know, that's why it's being said that after Kahuna Pyare, this is the film that has got two superstar debutants who are becoming superstars. But what was this faith that you had on these two that you know, that shows on screen?
You know, you don't plan to make a blockbuster. You plan to make a good film. And that's what I think they never let me, you know, they didn't put that pressure on me to live up to. They never gave me a number that we have to hit or a so-called figure that I have to open to. There was all these trappings were just not there, which normally producers do end up putting that pressure. You know, then you make wrong things. Then you add a song for a shadi song, add a Punjabi song. All these trappings.
Cloudburst in Uttarkashi, villages swept away, over 50 people missing, rescue teams at spot. Prime Minister Modi condoles, Amit Shah speaks to Chief Minister Pushkar Dhabi. Massive ruckus over Parliament's security change. Kharge had raised the issue of CISF being used to muzzle the voice of opposition. This has been rejected by the government, which says only marshals are in the house, not CISF. Prime Minister Modi slams opposition at the NDA meeting, says that the opposition parties were thrashed in the Operation Sindhu debate but insisted on self-harm. Congress protests in Jaipur demanding restoration of student union elections in Rajasthan. It turns into a battleground with Congress leader Sachin Pilot being taken away.
Presented by Canara Bank. Together we can.
Big story that we're breaking right now nationwide at 6, which is Donald Trump has come back with his tariff threat. He's in fact doubled down on it. He spoke about it yesterday. In less than 24 hours, he's reiterated it. But most importantly, he has spoken about pharmaceuticals imported into the US, which he says could eventually attract a tariff of as high as 250%. Let me get in my colleague Disha Bagchi, who's been tracking this story very closely for us. Disha, till now, the pharmaceutical was a sector that was kept out of the domain as far as tariffs is concerned. What are we really looking at potentially in terms of the impact for India?
Absolutely. So earlier, US President Trump had made it clear that he's going to leave certain critical sectors, whether it's pharma, electronics, out of this whole tariff war that he's essentially now raging on India. But now today he's saying that while initially he had given numbers like 25% tariffs on pharma, and that's what the sector could look at, but now he's really upped that ante, said it's more than 10 times the number now, saying that initially for a year the pharma sector could face 150% tariffs, but that could reach as high as 250%. And this announcement is expected in the next week or so. This is going to have a massive impact on India, given the fact that India is considered as the pharma hub, the medicine hub of the world, and the US is a crucial market for India. Almost 31% of India's pharma exports go to the US, and roughly 50% of the generic drugs that are sold in the US are developed and manufactured in India. So it's not just going to have a massive impact on India, but it's also going to massively impact the healthcare sector in the US, because remember that India is considered the manufacturing hub of pharmaceuticals, because we are able to give low cost, highly effective drugs across the globe. But if these drugs are now being developed by American companies in the US, it will drive up costs immensely for the consumers, really having a massive impact on the healthcare industry in the US as well. But for India, it's definitely going to hurt the pharma sector, given the fact that, as I mentioned, roughly a third of our pharma exports head to the US market. So again, a massive provocation, a massive threat by US President Trump, after he already doubled down on India yesterday over India's imports of Russian oil, saying that in the next 24 hours he's going to announce a new levy on India and a penalty on India for their imports of Russian oil. But with that, now this announcement of tariffs on pharmaceuticals is again a provocation and escalation in this tariff war.
Indeed, and Disha, the fact is that India is a very large provider of low-cost medicines. So when we export about 35 to 36% of our overall pharma exports to the US, the American consumer also stands to benefit. It's not like this threat is only going to impact the Indian pharma industry. We'll find probably alternative markets. It will take us about 3 to 6 months. But what happens to the American consumer? He needs to pay that much more for drugs.
Absolutely, and this is essentially what President Trump was trying to do, not make the American consumers pay more, but get American companies, American drug companies, American pharma companies to manufacture drugs in America. And this is what he thinks will make America great again. But will it really? Because what the immediate impact is going to be is that American consumers, certain reports have even said that the cost of medicines, generic medicines, over-the-counter medicines could go up as much as 6 times, because India as a provider gives low-cost generic drugs, and as I mentioned, almost half of those over-the-counter drugs are manufactured and exported to the US. So the American consumer is really going to face that burden quite a bit.
All right, we leave it there. Disha, thanks much for breaking that down for us. So viewers, you saw that fresh threats that's coming from Donald Trump. But remember, trade is a two-way street. If he thinks he's going to penalize India for an independent decision it has taken in terms of where it goes ahead and buys its oil to fulfill its energy needs, it's going to come back and bite the American consumer as well. And we at NDTV will keep getting you that big story. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Nationwide at 6 with me, Gauri Dwivedi. Thanks so much for watching. Up ahead, my colleagues Vasudha takes over.
गोल्ड प्लस ऑप्टिमिस्टिक रिफ्लेक्टिव ग्लास लगाओ, धूप की गर्मी को दूर भगाओ और बिजली का बिल भी बचाओ।
If it matters to you, if it matters to you, if it matters to you, it matters to India, it matters to India, and it matters to me, and it matters to me.
India Matters with Shivaru. Only on NDTV 24/7. Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV, Tariff and Zenora. Master global ESG frameworks, gain real-world tools and lead with impact. Starts August the 23rd. Enroll now and power your business with sustainability.
I've been reporting on all issues big and small from Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, rest of South India, bringing you all the action, all that you need to know, all that you want to know.
The energy of maximum city is infectious. I'm bringing that energy in our news coverage from financial capital Mumbai.
Covering from the southernmost part of India over the last 23 years, I bring in-depth and 360-degree coverage from the Dravidian heartland.
The land of Mishti, also known for its bitter politics. I have seen much water flow under the Howrah Bridge, covering Bengal in all its vivid colors.
India's IT capital is always bustling, a city full of startups, stories and surprises. And I keep you ahead on all the Bengaluru buzz.
Mohit, you are known for your music. All your films, musics stay with us till today. I'm a millennial and those music are kind of music. So whenever we say Mohit Suri film aa raha hai, we know the music will be good, right? It's a given. So you really work hard. But is this always like how you create your music? You need everything in place, the mood, the lighting, even when the person is in the studio and just singing. And also, how did you select your musicians that this person's voice is perfect for this song?
That's what I think, the amount you give to a song, that's how long it will last, I think. Everyone does the programming, everyone writes the words, everyone makes the thing. But the thing is how much of heart you give to the lyrics or to the music or to the melody or to the singing. That's how long the song will last, is what I genuinely feel. If you don't give that love, you're not going to get it back. It's just a simple debit and credit procedure, I think, with the audience. I genuinely feel I don't have any special skill. I don't know any scale or anything else. It's just that I enjoy that process a lot. Give me an evening to just go for a film party or something, I'll skip it. But you give me like a struggling musician to go who has a great tune, some new guys, chill all night with them. I can do that. I can just sit there, make music and stuff like that. We just did that recently. Fahim came down. He just surprised us, and we met in my Bandra office, and Han was there, Anit was there, and he made me hear his other songs and stuff like that. But it was it's so much fun. Because I just think making music, film, you still get to see something. I think music is so amazing. You just
don't need to see anything.
It's in the air, and suddenly it just comes together, and it's just, you can just feel it. And something you hear makes you feel something. It's just magical.
Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program for business sustainability and growth for CXO and business leaders by NDTV.
Good evening and welcome to the Southern View. This evening, another Himalayan monsoon tragedy, Vasudha, in Uttarakhand. That's our main focus and perhaps only focus this evening.
Namaskar and welcome to all our viewers. Messages of grief and support pouring in from all quarters to that tragedy. The visuals from the cloudburst reveal the enormity, the scale of what really happened in Uttarakhand. We'll get you all the latest up ahead, but first up, the headlines. Cloudburst in Uttarkashi, villages swept away. Over 50 people have gone missing. Rescue teams at spot. PM condoles. Amit Shah, the Home Minister, has spoken to Chief Minister Pushkar Dhami.
Massive ruckus over the use of CISF in Parliament. Mallikarjun Kharge had raised the issue of CISF being used in the House to muzzle the opposition allegedly. The government hits back. Kiran Rijiju says only marshals in the House.
NDTV takes a sneak peek into the Bengaluru Yellow Line that's to be launched by the Prime Minister on the 10th of August.
Has Donald Trump doubled down on tariff threat? He sets a 24-hour deadline for India, says substantial tariffs in the next 24 hours. We'll wait and see how that plays out. Breaking news of horrendous videos, Vasudha, coming in from Uttarakhand Tuesday afternoon. Himalayan tragedy that unfolded there following a cloudburst that triggered a massive and devastating landslide at the Dharali village of Uttarakhand's Uttarkashi district. You see those videos on your screens. They tell the tale of nature's fury. Several people fear dead as horrific images of gush of land and water showed people and houses being washed away, cars being washed away. There you see on your screens in that village, from the Prime Minister down to the top of Uttarakhand's establishment, have said a massive relief and rescue operation is underway in trying conditions there, Vasudha.
Absolutely. 50 people have gone missing. In fact, it could be even more than that. Many more are feared missing at this stage. Horrifying visuals there, Veera, in which a huge gush of water and earth came down towards the Dharali village in Uttarkashi, sweeping away many houses, hotels and also people. Eyewitnesses posted videos on social media in which people can be heard screaming in panic. Uttarkashi police have also posted pictures of destruction and they've urged people to maintain a safe distance from rivers.
Those pictures, of course, we've seen that happen repeatedly. We will have a special panel to weigh in on the situation there. We'll also get you the latest of the ground reports from Uttarkashi that we can. Let's first get you whatever reactions we have at the moment, starting with the Uttarakhand Chief Minister and also some of the eyewitness reactions that came in.
बहुत तेज गति से आया है, घरों में भी गया है, कुछ घर भी चपेट में आए हैं, आसपास कुछ गेस्ट हाउस और होटल हैं, उन सभी को उसमें मलबे में उसमें आए हैं। और अभी सबसे पहले हमारी सर्वोच्च प्राथमिकता है कि सभी को तत्काल बचाव किया जाए, राहत के कार्य किए जाए, जरूरी जो भी सहायता है वो सहायता लोगों तक पहुँचाई जाए। उसके लिए सेना के लोग और आपदा प्रबंधन विभाग और NDRF, SDRF सभी काम कर रहे हैं। आदरणीय गृहमंत्री जी ने भी लगातार हर संभव सहायता के लिए वहाँ पर ITBP की कंपनियां और कंपनियों को भेजा है और उन्होंने कहा है कि हर संभव यहाँ से भी सहायता की जाएगी। तो हम सबका प्रयास, सभी लोग लगे हैं, जिला प्रशासन के लोग भी बचाव के काम के लिए है। थोड़ा सा कठिन स्थान है वो, क्योंकि वहाँ पर बारिश भी हो रही है और इस समय वहाँ थोड़ा कोहरा भी लगा हुआ है।
धामी जी, आपसे पूछना चाहूंगी कि क्या आप भी वहां जाएंगे जहां ये त्रासदी हुई है और कब तक पहुंचेंगे अगर जा रहे हैं तो?
जी वहाँ पर, जी बिल्कुल, मैं भी यहाँ आपदा प्रबंधन से सारे जो भी हमारे कंट्रोल रूम है वहाँ पे सारा हम लोग मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं। जैसी जैसी आवश्यकता होगी उस हिसाब से हम सब लोग वहाँ पहुँचेंगे। और चूंकि अभी सभी लोग बचाव के काम में लगे हैं, इसलिए सबकी प्राथमिकता है कि इस समय बचाव के कामों को आगे बढ़ाया जाए।
धामी जी, घायलों की और बाकी वहां पर मृतकों की संख्या की कोई पुष्टि हो पाई है?
देखिए अभी आकलन नहीं हो पाया है। अभी तो यह है कि तत्काल लोगों को जिनको बचाया जा सकता है, जिनको राहत दी जा सकती है, सर्वोच्च सहायता की जा सकती है, उसमें लगे हैं। सबकी सुरक्षा, सबको बचाना हमारी प्राथमिकता है।
घटना हुई है, प्रशासन लोग अपने काम कर रहे हैं, जगह जगह पहुंच रहे हैं, क्योंकि रास्ता भी बंद है, इसलिए जितना वहाँ लोकली है वो लोग पहुंच रहे हैं और जो बाहर से आ रहे हैं हेल्प कर रहे हैं। जो प्रशासन वो लोग अभी पहुंच ही रहे हैं, क्योंकि आपने देखा होगा परिस्थिति कैसा है। स्टेट और सेंटर हम सब मिलकर इसके लिए काम कर रहे हैं और आगे जा रहे हैं। 2 बार हो चुका है, एक सुखी में भी फिर एक बार हुआ है। क्लाउडबर्स्ट 2 प्लेसेस क्लाउडबर्स्ट हुआ है। इट्स अ वेरी टफ जॉब फॉर देम टू रीच ऑल्सो, क्योंकि फोन्स भी नहीं लग रहा है।
देखिए, चूंकि सड़क का भी संपर्क मार्ग बाधित हो गया है और पुलिया भी वहां से बह गई है, तो उसके लिए हम लोग अभी बीआरओ से भी और ईएनसी इंजीनियर इन चीफ हमारे पीडब्ल्यूडी के हमारे साथ हैं। हमारा सबसे पहला जो प्रयास है कि किस तरह से कनेक्टिविटी स्थापित की जाए। मौसम भी अभी ऐसी स्थिति नहीं है जिससे कि हम लोग हेली सर्विसेज को वहां के माध्यम से वहां पे राहत और रेस्क्यू कर सके, लेकिन जहां तक एसडीआरएफ और एनडीआरएफ का है उसमें हम यहां से ऑलरेडी एसडीआरएफ की टीम वहां पहुंची हुई है। साथ ही वहाँ आर्मी का भी इस्टेब्लिशमेंट है। आर्मी के इस्टेब्लिशमेंट के माध्यम से गांव वालों से अभी वहाँ हमने गांव वालों से भी 1-2 लोगों से बात करने की कोशिश की है। बड़ी बात है कि हम लोग आकलन जैसा कि प्रथम दृष्टया लग रहा है कि उसमें 40-50 जो बिल्डिंग्स क्षति हुई है।
अभी ताज़ा जानकारी के मुताबिक प्रॉपर्टीज़ का तो काफ़ी डैमेज हुआ ही है और अभी कैजुअलिटीज़ के बारे में कुछ बता पाना अभी संभव नहीं है। मौके पर हमारी आर्मी की टीम जो हर्षिल में रहती है वो पहुंच गई है। साथ ही साथ डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट एसएसपी भी पहुंचने वाले हैं। एनडीआरएफ, एसडीआरएफ और ये भी टीम वहां पर मूव की जा चुकी है। पहली प्राथमिकता तो लोगों का रेस्क्यू करना है, इसके लिए हेल्थ विभाग की पूरी टीम, साथ ही साथ फूड डिपार्टमेंट, इन सभी को एक्टिवेट किया गया है।
उत्तराखंड के धराली में भूस्खलन आया हुआ है, बहुत भयंकर तबाही हुई है। बात करने के लिए एनडीआरएफ के डीआईजी ऑपरेशन मोहसिन साहिदी की जो तस्वीरें, जो विजुअल आ रही है, वो तो काफ़ी ज़्यादा भयावह लग रहा है वहाँ पर।
जी बिल्कुल, बहुत ही भयानक ये एक इंसिडेंट हुआ है और इसमें करीब 2 बजे ये इंसिडेंट हुआ है। उसके बाद एनडीआरएफ की हमने 3 टीमों को रवाना किया है। एक मनेरा से जो उत्तरकाशी में ही है, उसके बाद बटकोट से और देहरादून से टीमें अभी एन रूट हैं और जल्दी पहुंचने वाली हैं। इसके अलावा 2 टीमें हमारी एयरलिफ्ट के लिए भी देहरादून में तैयार हैं।
अभी वहाँ क्या शुरुआती क्या जानकारी लग पड़ी, कितना नुकसान हुआ है वहाँ पर अगर बात करें, क्योंकि वहाँ जो मड जो दिख रहा है, एक जो मिट्टी के जो सैलाब जिसको कह सकते हैं, वो तो कई फुट जमा हुआ और बहुत ज़्यादा भयंकर।
जी देखिए, ये तो एक बड़े क्षेत्र में तबाही है और अभी सूचना अवेटेड है। एसडीएमएस से जो लोकल प्रशासन है उनके पास से अभी पूरी सूचना आई नहीं है हमारे पास। ऐसा बताया जा रहा है कि 40 से 50 जो घर हैं वो तबाह हुए हैं और कई लोग मिसिंग हैं। तो ये एक चैलेंज होगा हमारे लिए, एक चैलेंजिंग ऑपरेशन रहेगा।
4-5 लोगों के मरने की खबर है, 40 से 50 लोग मिसिंग, इस तरह की बातें निकल के आ रही है।
जी बिल्कुल, ये जो रेडियो से और जो टीवी से ये हम अभी देख रहे हैं, कंफर्म्ड अभी इंफॉर्मेशन अवेटेड है।
Well, former Chief Minister and Congress leader Harish Rawat joins us now. Thank you, Mr. Rawat, हमसे जुड़ने के लिए। सर, उत्तराखंड के लिए काफ़ी तबाही का टाइम है, ये बहुत दुख का टाइम है। आपने ये सब एज अ चीफ मिनिस्टर देखा है सर, और अभी रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशंस में भी काफ़ी चैलेंजेस आ रहे हैं। जाहिर सी बात है, इस तबाही को, इस हादसे को किस तरह देखते हैं?
ये बहुत चिंताजनक स्थिति है हमारे लिए और ये निरंतर बनी हुई चिंताजनक स्थिति है। पिछले कई वर्षों से जो हमारा मध्य हिमालय का क्षेत्र है, उत्तराखंड, हिमाचल, इनमें बादल फटने की घटनाएं बहुत हो रही हैं। कब किस गाड़ में, किस गदेरे में, किस एरिया में, किस जोन में कोई बादल फट जाए, कहाँ ग्लेशियर टूट जाए, ये इस तरीके की आपदा आ जाए, कोई कहा नहीं जा सकता। यहाँ भी सीर गंगा में ये ऊपर ग्लेशियरों से निकल करके आती है। मुझे लगता है तो ग्लेशियर टूटा या उस सीर गंगा के उस क्षेत्र में बादल फटने की घटना हुई और उसके मलबे की चपेट में सारा हमारा जो है ये धराली का गांव आ गया। सबसे सुंदर गांव हमारा, बहुत व्यवस्थित गांव, जहाँ बहुत अच्छी आधुनिक खेती भी होती थी, बड़े सेब के बगीचे थे, होम स्टे बने हुए थे, लोगों के होटल्स बने हुए थे, क्योंकि ये गंगोत्री के यात्रा मार्ग में जो है लगभग आखिरी पड़ाव जैसा है। तो यहाँ बहुत सुंदर गांव था। एक बहुत प्राचीन स्थित मंदिर है यहाँ, वो भी सारा ढक गया है, पूरा गांव का 70% एरिया ढक गया है। तो बचाव का काम चल रहा है। मैं समझता हूँ वहाँ सेना की मदद के लिए होगी। हर्षिल में नजदीक में सेना भी है, ITBP है, भी है, ऊपर दोनों की मदद भी हासिल हो सकती है। और फिर SDRF हमारी है ही है, और NDRF की मदद भी होगी और स्थानीय लोग भी मदद कर रहे हैं। तो मुझे जानकारी मिली है या प्रशासन भी वहां पहुंच गया है। तो अब देखना यह है कि बचाव का काम कैसे हो पाता है। रात घिर रही है, उधर बारिश भी हो रही है, ये चिंता का विषय है, मगर हम भगवान से प्रार्थना ही कर सकते हैं और तब ठीक हो। और मैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से देश के लोगों से भी एक प्रार्थना करना चाहता हूँ, विशेष तौर पर सत्ता से ये प्रार्थना करना चाहता हूँ कि हमारे मध्य हिमालय के क्षेत्र जिनसे सारी ये नदियां निकलती हैं उत्तरी भारत की, सारा जल यहीं से जाता है, सारा ऑक्सीजन देने का काम भी यही क्षेत्र करते हैं। तो इन क्षेत्रों के लिए कैसे हम क्लाइमेट चेंज का मुकाबला कर सकें और उससे अपने मध्य हिमालय के क्षेत्र को, यहाँ के वल्नरेबल पहाड़ों को कैसे बचाएं, अपने ग्लेशियरों को कैसे बचाएं, उसके लिए कोई राष्ट्रीय पॉलिसी बनाइए और हमारी सरकारों का भी मार्गदर्शन करिए और उनके ऊपर कुछ नियंत्रण भी रखिए। यह अंधाधुंध जो दोहन हो रहा है प्रकृति का, उस पर कुछ अंकुश लगवाइए। ये जो धन कमाने वालों के हवाले पूरा उत्तराखंड कर दिया, हमारी नदी घाटियां सब धार सब उनके हवाले कर दी है, उनसे हमको बचाने में मदद करिए। ये मैं आपका चैनल बहुत बड़ा चैनल है, मैं इसके माध्यम से पूरे देश के लोगों से प्रार्थना करना चाहता हूँ।
रावत जी, आप बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट बात कह रहे हैं, बट आई जस्ट हैव अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन टू यू दैट गिवन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ दीज ट्रेजेडीज हैव पीपल रियली लर्नड, क्या लोग
any question from me
from the past?
Any question for me?
Yes sir, that's a question for you. वो कहना पूछना चाहते हैं कि लोगों को कुछ समझ में आया है सर, आपके अनुभव से बताइए कि क्या लोगों को
कुछ आवाज नहीं आ रही।
हाँ, नहीं, हम पूछना चाह रहे थे मिस्टर रावत कि हम पूछना चाहते हैं।
I think Mr. Rawat Vasudha is not able to listen, hear our questions. Mr. Rawat, can you hear us?
कोई नेटवर्क की खराबी है।
Okay, we'll try and get back to Mr. Rawat.
मिस्टर रावत, आपके अनुभव से ये बताइए कि अगर लोगों को ये समझ आ रहा है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज से जो दुविधा स्टेट को सहनी पड़ रही है, क्या लोगों को एहसास है कि इससे प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है?
I don't think Mr.
problem.
Achha, we will try.
I don't think Mr. Rawat can hear us there. Vasudha, let's try and go across to our other guests. I believe we are also joined by Dipali Jindal, a senior consultant at the NDMA. Also with us, Harjeet Singh, who's followed climate issues very, very closely. Ms. Jindal, can you give us a sense of, what kind of preparations could have been there? Was there any kind of advance warnings of a cloudburst there? Just give us a sense of what is running through your mind as you see those horrendous images play on television screens.
So this is the very unfortunate incident which has happened in Uttarkashi. So this is not only the one incident, almost 3 incidents of cloudburst has happened. One in Dharali, as we have already seen, and one between Harshil and Gangani, and another near the army camp at Harshil. So there was the warning from IMD for the entire Uttarakhand state. The red warning was being issued, but in the nowcast they issued the orange alert also to the Uttarkashi district. So there could have been
I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Harish Rawat is back with us. Mr. Rawat, thank you हमसे जुड़ने के लिए. हम ये पूछना चाह रहे थे सर कि आपने जब ये 2013 का फ्लड्स देखा था, उसके बाद मुझे याद है कि 3 टायर प्रोटेक्शन सिस्टम की बात की थी आपने, लेकिन क्या अभी लोगों को एहसास है कि क्लाइमेट चेंज से दिक्कत हो रही है, और क्या अर्ली डिटेक्शन सिस्टम किसी भी काम आते हैं? क्योंकि ऐसी जब दुर्घटना होती है तो लगता है कि सेंसर हो, अर्ली डिटेक्शन हो, कोई किसी काम का नहीं है. Okay, we'll try connecting.
Let's go back to Dipali. Let's try and go back to Dipali Jindal. It's all quite chaotic because of that internet connection there. Dipali Jindal, please go ahead. You were making a point.
I was just telling that there are 3 incidences of the cloudburst which has happened in Uttarkashi. So the warning was being issued by IMD, Indian Meteorological Department. The red alert was given for the entire state of the Uttarakhand, and for Uttarkashi specifically, there was an orange alert. So we need to prepare in such kind of the situations. So Though we were prepared a lot, but still this was very unfortunate because the cloudburst which has happened. So this could be the probable cause could have been the breach of the Moraine Dam at the upstream side, because there are too many glaciers surrounding these above the catchment area of the Khir Ganga, and also there could be the reason that in the Khir Ganga the cloudburst has hit. So entire thing can be determined just on the detailed analysis of the satellite imagery, so that we can come to the exact point what could be have the main reason. And already NDMA has identified, 13 glacial lakes in Uttarakhand also, which are the high-risk glacial lakes. So there could be the possibility of this kind of the failure also in this.
Ajit Singh with us. Mr. Singh, this is also the Char Dham Yatra, time, and of course, some of these yatras are also seeing a lot of tourists. Uttarakhand is dependent on tourists. The whole Garhwal part of the state, how fragile is it? Can you explain to us, because this recurring landslides and floods, what really is the solution for this?
So that is really, really sad, and our hearts are with the people who are affected and facing this crisis. But let's also recognize that it's a brutal warning sign that our planet is in crisis. When we see such incidences happening so frequently all around us, and this one in particular is a direct consequence of global warming. Harish ji also mentioned that. We are talking about climate change, but it's also colliding with a disastrous local level planning and our lack of preparedness for the climate crisis. That's the reality somewhere. And we need to recognize that climate crisis is getting worse. There's, of course, intensified rainfall, and how climate change and global warming are making these so-called natural disasters far more worse. But then the local multiplier, a man-made disaster, is because of the destructive development that we are living through. We are ignoring the signs. So we have all the information. Geologists and ecologists have been warning us about the region, which is so ecologically fragile, but we still see unregulated construction of hotels, roads, and hydropower projects, and of course the deforestation. So it is a man-made crisis, whether we talk about climate change or the way we are constructing, which we are doing in the name of development. So I would say, of course, this is a time when we should be talking about how people are suffering, but we cannot ignore the causes, which are all human-made.
Right. There is more information that's coming in of further damages. We'll go to those in a bit, Vasudha. But Sanjay Kumar, former DG of the NDRF, is also here with us. Mr. Kumar, what would be the critical challenges at this stage? The scale of it, they get a sense that it's still not very clear in terms of the weather conditions there, and in terms of NDRF teams being able to reach there. What are you hearing?
Yes, challenges are all there in such a situation. First thing is to for the teams to arrive at the site, and I think that due to the inclement weather, it's not possible to airlift the forces over there. Therefore, the routes are to be opened first, and priority of the forces would be to rescue the people over there who might